But we've also endorsed a whole number of candidates now. The RMT, we've supported, for example, John Metcalfe as a Trade Union Socialist Alliance candidate up in Carlisle. We've supported people in Manchester. We're supporting the old freehold MP seats. We're supporting the Brighton seat down here. We're supporting Mick Tosh down in Portsmouth. And there's a number of other seats coming in, for example, Bristol South has come in, 2 from London, and there's another one from Chester, independent. I mean, a strange one in my union, actually, John Whittingham, if I'm over John Whittingham. He wants to stand as a candidate. I mean, this bloke, you know, has gone from, you know, just show you how far he can't support the Labour Party anymore. I mean, this bloke's thought that Tony Blair, only up to a few weeks ago, was a fantastic bloke. He's even changed his opinion now. So it just shows you how far these people have gone. So our view is this, it's pretty simple. It's brutal, actually. Is that we're a trade union, not a political party, and our job at the end of the day is to represent working people at the workplace. However, when someone comes out of the workplace at night, we have to understand that we need people passing legislation in Parliament, e.g. health and safety laws, stopping industrial diseases, making sure there's a decent national health service, making sure that workers are represented, just like the big bosses have got their MPs in Parliament. We need to have our MPs in Parliament. So hence, what we're doing is we're supporting a whole range of different people. And that gives us the freedom. The fact of the matter is that those unions that are affiliated to the Labour Party can do one thing only. They either can support Labour, or they can have to be disaffiliated from Labour if they dare support anyone. Our view is this, is that support goes 2 ways. When trade unions take action and fight, we expect people to be on our side. And those people stay on side, then when it comes to their turn, they're up for election, then we go and give them support and support them in that process. We, for the life of me, can't understand why there's so many of them Labour MPs that are in Parliament who have been sponsored by trade unions who won't put their signature to any early day motion on repealing the anti-trade union laws, the same laws that are repressing the trade unions from allowing them to even give more money to those individual MPs. So if they can't roll their sleeves up and support us throughout the course of 4.5 years, then when it comes to a general election, my view is that we shouldn't have them. Now, all of you, for some reasons, might be representatives. You might be representatives at a trade union, trades council, you might be local councillors, you just might be representatives in general. But you're all accountable to someone. You're accountable to your branch or the members you come from. And from time to time we have discussions about how you should vote at certain places, at a trades council, meeting, branch or whatever. Now, you imagine as representatives, you all turn around and say to your members where you come from, we couldn't care less what you're saying. I'm not going to represent your views anymore. The members would say, well, right, we're going to get another grouping. And that's my view of this Labour Party. If these MPs ain't prepared to stand up and fight for us, we'll scrub them and get another lot. Because how long are people going to be waiting for? I heard it all in the 80s. Whatever happens, we must get rid of Thatcher. Quite rightly so. We must get rid of Major. That the Tories want quick and brutal cuts. This is their views, words, not mine. Labour want cuts but spread over a longer period. And the Liberals, they want savage cuts. That's what we're faced up with. Under Labour, if you're in the public sector, you're going to get 1%. Under the Tories, you're going to get nothing. Okay? Someone said the other day, you know, under Labour, you're going to get the plague, and under the Tories, you're going to get the black fever. It makes no difference. Either way, you die. But one's a bit longer than the other. That's what it boils down to. And we want something different. Because the reality is, this £180 billion, which is going to go in further and further, as a trustee of a pension fund, and one of the investment managers said of our pension fund today, all these investment managers got together, and they said that if this was a company, the country was a company now, it'd be bankrupt. No doubt about that. It couldn't survive on the debt it's got. And you know about all these bankers now, seem to have forgotten now, isn't it? You know, the PCS workers are out on strike today. They went out on strike, you know, for, you know, just to keep their redundancy payments and such. Some of these low-paid people, these civil servants, all you keep getting told these top mandarins. But the MPs sat in Parliament, awarded themselves £1,000 pay increase, and then turned around and said that if they get kicked out of Parliament on May the 6th, they will keep their redundancy payments in place. And at the same token goes, allowed low-paid workers to have their redundancy payments cut, and so on. There's the hypocrisy of them. But they all use these flash words now, don't they? I don't know if you know. Now, when this big crisis coming about the banks, all of a sudden new words come into the dictionary. Quantitative easing is a new word that comes in, isn't it? What does that mean? And derivatives come in. You know, all my members at night time, they finish on the track, get home at night time, have their pie and beans. That's the sort of language they use, doesn't it? How's the quantitative easing tonight, sweetheart? And any derivatives to go with the pie and beans here tonight? Of course, what it's about is confusing people and making all these flash words. The reality is, this debt has got to be paid back. And the three main political parties in this country have decided, is it going to be paid back by higher taxes, which they don't want to do, or is it the workers who are going to pay for it? And they've decided the workers are going to pay for it. Because they don't really want workers' votes anymore, this grade. They rely on the establishment to get them elected. They're more concerned about Maxwell, Murdoch, and the big press and the big business getting them elected than they are working people. So they're going to say that working people have got to pay for it back. Now I believe that we have got to pay the debt back, and the fact is we've got to. And it's going to get worse. And it's not my scaremongering. Go over to the island of Ireland and you will see from January the 1st they've had their pay and pensions cut by over 10% in the public sector. The Irish TUC actually offered the government to do 12 days leave without pay as an alternative to have their pay cut, and the Irish government said no. Now what does that tell you? It tells you one thing, is that it's not just about doing away with conditions of service, it's about reducing rates of pay and conditions, and now they've reduced it in the public service, will lay the foundations down for the pay to be cut in the private sector. That's what's taking place in Ireland. In Greece, you're seeing massive general strikes taking place out there, under the austerity plan that's taking place out there, where services are being cut, wages are being cut, and so on. And they're going to come for us, no doubt about that, and that's what's going to happen. And I believe that there should be public sector cutbacks. The first thing I'd like to see is we do away with the Trident nuclear missile programme, which will save £76 billion. Why do we want more nuclear weapons for? Maybe we was told, weren't we, in the 60s and 70s when I was at school, be careful of the Reds under your beds, because the Soviet Union might come over at any time, so we need all these nuclear weapons everywhere. Oh, the Russians are over here all right, aren't they? Down the Chelsea Football Club. Got all them players. Mind you, I'll have some of those players. Some of the crap we'd had Millwall down here, we'll take some of those Russians down at Millwall. So that's that bit part of it. Now, who's the threat now? First thought was Iran, wasn't it? Well, I mean, nuclear weapons, maybe a way of stopping Iran. But I was told that terrorists are the threat. Someone who puts gelignite over themselves in their rucksack and jumps on the train. You can have all the nuclear weapons in your world you want. You ain't going to stop someone in a rucksack doing a suicide bomber. Only what's going to be solved is a political solution in the Middle East. That's the only solution that's going to take place there. National identity cards. That'll save us another £40 billion. Because what do you want national identity cards for? The police. Do you want a decent public service? Do you want a national health system? And do you want decent workers' paying conditions? Or do you want the bankers to dictate? The bankers are going to get off this scot-free unless this trade union movement and an alternative is put in place. That's why our union is backing those candidates in the election. We're going to be given money, and we're going to be putting workers out there as well. We're going to put branch activists, full-time activists out there, and it makes no difference what we do. I don't expect to get a phone call from Buckingham Palace the day after the election to form a government. But I'll tell you what it will do. It'll give a lead to working men and working women that there is an alternative to the three main political parties that are all pro-business.